Scott, welcome. Thanks for joining us here on Midday Movers. We were just taking a look at Canopy Growth, CGC, the new low for the year. Looks like they're not alone. Aurora also to a new low for the year ahead of earnings. Scott, it's not just the product. ACB stock is getting smoked as well.
So, Ben, before we talk about Aurora, I really have to ask you a question. Were you really a Ren and Stimpy fan?
Actually, my kids were, Scott. I wasn't, but by default, I was.
Duly noted. Thank goodness. Okay, now let's talk about Aurora. I'm glad you put that to rest there. You know, the whole industry right now is, for as much of, as much of the support that it had the last 18 months leading up to maybe this summertime, there's really, the industry has appalled over it right now, right? Where they can't get out of their own way. The expectations were so large, so heavy leading into this year. So, you know, you probably will find much the same with Aurora Cannabis. I mean, this stock, you know, trading $3 or $3.50 now is a shell of what it once was. I do believe, however, if you take a longer term view, that this is absolutely one of the ones you want to buy into, especially at this level. Yeah. However, for earnings right now, I don't see a lot coming out of this. I don't see much different than what we saw for Canopy Growth. The market, the option market is expecting about a 60-cent move, which doesn't sound like a lot, but on a $3 stock, that is a lot. It's 20% move roughly. And it's really, you know, the stock is going to move really based on what the thought process is or what they talk about, what's going to happen post-December when some of these other products are legalized in Canada.
All right, well, let's talk about post-December because, again, this is the one thing that I keep looking at when we're talking about these stocks. They obviously have been on a skid, and I agree with you. It's not necessarily a great idea to roll them all up into one, so I'm glad you pulled ACB out and kind of singled them out in terms of relative to CGC and some of the others. But, Scott, I'm keep wondering, well, Illinois goes legal, recreational, I think it's the first of this year, of next year, 2020. So we're seeing state after state which are actually going legal. I'm wondering if we saw federal legalization, would that turn these stocks around? I mean, would that be what they need right now? Because you mentioned they can't get out of their own way. Would that change things?
Game changer. Okay. That is the game changer. So state by state is good.
Yeah.
It's the federal issue. If it does get legalized federally, this is a stock you want to be in. Right. Absolutely. But however, Ben, you know, realistically, if that were to happen, that's still years away. And that's why I said ACB is more of an investment to me. Noted. It's not a trade.
Noted. Well, at a $3 price point, it's almost like an option at this point, a call.
Exactly.
You've got definitely well-defined risk there. Let's talk a little bit about another stock that you want to own. The semis in general have been doing very well. NVIDIA, a new high for the year on Monday. I saw the straddle price is pricing in about a 6.5% move in either direction tomorrow. Now, that's the average move in the stock the day after earnings has been much more above that, around 9% over the past 20 quarters. What are you looking for, Scott?
You're right. Very muted move. I actually talked to Oliver Rennick about this morning, about $13. And from a technical standpoint, Ben, and I know this is something that you've looked at and we've discussed before. If you go back to the October-December period of last year,
I'm
2018,
looking at it. Yeah.
Okay, when you see the high point in the stock of 290-ish down to the low point of 126, if you look at that 50% retracement area, which is a Fibonacci technical indicator that many traders get, we're right there.
Yeah.
We are literally right there right now. To me, that is going to be some massive resistance in this stock. Now, that doesn't mean that I want to go in and sell it, because I do think that NVIDIA is looking very, very strong. And I think that, you know, earnings do have the potential here to be fantastic. However, that could be part of the reason why we're seeing such a muted expected move on this earnings report.
You think because it's already been priced in, or it's already been run up, or we're at that key area of resistance you mentioned?
At that key area of resistance. However, the fundamentals and technicals still look pretty good. So I think there's just a lot of push and pull here. If we do sell off sub 200, almost down to maybe that 195 area or so where that expected move is, I'm in this thing. I'm waiting until after earnings, but I would love to own it down there.
All right, Scott, we've got another one that you're looking at here. AMAT, talk to me about Applied Materials, up to 57.39 yesterday.
Yeah.
Again, these semis are on fire. They have just been doing well, rocking out to the upside. Also a new high this week. What are we looking for in AMAT?
So here's what I like about AMAT. Going back a few weeks, about 3 weeks ago, the stock held technically at some major support around 52.5 and really bounced off of there on big volume. Last earnings back in August, they were so, and they didn't really change guidance or so. Guidance is still in the mid-range of what they had expected. So they have not put out, their management has not put out their big lofty expectations, even though maybe the stock has gotten a little bit ahead of itself. Mm-hmm. So I am looking at AMAT actually for a nice upward move here, because to me, the surprise is going to be to the upside on guidance, not necessarily what they report for revenue, okay, but what the guidance may be going through into 2020.